The situation in the Middle East is tense once again. The message from Washington is unmistakable. If Hamas breaks its agreements or continues hostile action, the response will be, in President Trump's words, fast, furious, and brutal. This warning comes amid a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Retired four-star General Jack Keane, a former vice chief of staff of the U.S. Army, explains that most ceasefires are at their most vulnerable in the first 30 days. That's the period when violations, retaliation, and political missteps can quickly shatter temporary peace. And according to General Keane, those violations have already begun. Reports indicate that Hamas militants have not only attacked rival Palestinians, carrying out assassinations and targeted killings, but have also engaged Israeli defense forces, taking the lives of 2 IDF soldiers. Israel responded swiftly, confirming that the ceasefire is already starting to unravel. General Keane notes that the Trump administration's focus on sending a team to the region underscores just how complex this next phase is, especially with the planned Palestinian Provisional Governing Committee. The concern, he warns, is that Hamas still holds influence within that proposed governing body, potentially undermining any progress before it even begins. Beyond politics, there's also the question of the International Stabilization Force, a coalition of nations that would oversee peacekeeping and security operations in Gaza. But here's the problem. Several countries are reluctant to contribute troops. According to the New York Times, potential participants are demanding clarity. They want to know exactly what their mission will be and whether they'll be expected to engage Hamas militarily once inside Gaza. And this concern is valid. If Hamas refuses to disarm, as signs suggest it will, can any stabilization force hope to maintain peace without direct confrontation? Historically, peacekeeping missions fail when one of the warring parties refuses to cooperate, and Hamas has shown no willingness to surrender control. President Trump's leadership team appears aware of this risk. Senior officials recognize that unless there's unified resolve, the mission could collapse before it truly begins. And if that happens, the president has already made his position clear. If Hamas reneges on its commitments or refuses disarmament, Israel will have the full green light to forcibly dismantle the group's military infrastructure. This is not idle talk. Trump stated during the White House announcement of the ceasefire agreement that he would fully authorize Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israeli Defense Forces to move swiftly to neutralize Hamas' remaining power centers if necessary. As General Keane puts it, that's the pathway we may be heading toward if Hamas doesn't uphold its end of the deal. For now, diplomatic teams are trying to prevent that scenario, but every new violation pushes the region closer to renewed violence. So as world leaders weigh their next steps, 2 questions dominate. Can an international force hold together under such pressure? And will Hamas finally disarm or force an inevitable military response from Israel? One that could be, as Trump warned, fast, furious, and brutal. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more updates.